Well, greetings viewers and voyeurs with Got That Funk, and this is the first sort of vlog style video that I've done for a couple of years now. The topic is going to be basically me and my personal life, so if that's not something you're interested in hearing about, I don't blame you. Go back to your subscription page and find something a bit more worthy to watch. Alright? I'm just going to be sort of thinking out loud here about why I suck at romantic relationships. I've never been in a successful romantic relationship, in the sense that I've never had a long-term relationship which has maintained any level of consistent happiness and mutual satisfaction. Um, my recent girlfriend and myself broke up at the end of June. We were together for just over 2 years. And in lots of ways I was satisfied in the relationship, but in other ways I wasn't. And I'm not going to disgrace her by sort of going over the ins and outs of what happened between us which caused the breakup. I just have to talk about myself here. So there will be certain important information that I leave out of respect for her, because she's not in a position to be able to speak for herself on this website. So, and even if she was, that's not the kind of thing you want to hash out on YouTube. Suffice to say that I have to take my 50% of the blame for what went wrong in the relationship, because I guess just my sort of personality, I'm a very friendly person, I'm a people person, and I guess that my nature being what it was, or what it is, made it hard for her to trust me. And in a romantic relationship, trust is something that I absolutely insist on. I think trust and respect and affection are absolutely necessary components of a successful romantic relationship. And I refuse to be involved in a romantic relationship, a committed romantic relationship, when any one or any combination of those things are absent. And I also refuse to take any kind of abuse, be it physical or emotional. And that's kind of sad. I remember when I was a young man, I was probably about 23, and I was in between radio jobs, so rather than go on unemployment benefit, I went and got a job at McDonald's, which actually paid less than unemployment benefit would do, but I digress. Anyway, I was wiping tables in the main lobby, and there was an elderly couple there, holding hands across the table. And I thought it was charming, because you don't often see people of that generation, we're talking people in their 70s, being sort of, openly affectionate in public. And they looked all lovey-dovey at each other and everything. So I went up and I complimented them on it, and I basically mentioned to them, how do you do it? Have you guys been married your whole life? And they're like, yeah, 55 years. And I said, wow, that's amazing. I said, I don't know anybody who's been married more than 10 years. How do you do it? What's your secret? And the lady looked at me and she goes, there's no secret. You just, agree to get married, and you agree to stay together no matter what happens. I said, you mean no matter what happens, like, say, infidelity or domestic violence? And they're both sort of smiling at me and nodding their head. And that's right. Whatever happens, you're in it together for the long run. And you don't let anything break you up. You work it out. And I have to say that I really admire that on one level, but there are red lines for me that I just will not tolerate from anyone. And, like I say, physical abuse or emotional abuse, where it's ongoing and so forth, I just won't take. I wouldn't take infidelity either, for that matter. So does that mean I have a problem with commitment? I don't know, because I think if you really are genuinely committed, like that elderly couple were obviously genuinely committed to each other, um, then you would put up with infidelity or minor instances of abuse, I suppose. But is it asking too much not to have to put up with those things? I don't know. See, I honestly feel like I've never been unfaithful, and I can honestly say that in my recent relationship, as well as both my marriages, I never ever raised my voice at my partner unless they were raising their voice at me first. It's just not how I roll. I'm the kind of person who keeps his cool pretty well, and usually for quite a while after someone starts losing their cool with me before I finally snap and retort in kind. So I'm I honestly feel inside my own heart sometimes that I'm not really doing anything wrong in my relationships, that I'm not making them worse. I'm trying my best to make them better. When it was coming to my most recent relationship, I gave up so much when I moved into her house. My son ended up moving out of Cornwall completely, 200 miles away from me. So, in a sense, I lost my son. I lost my dogs because I wasn't allowed to have pets in the house. Um, Other stuff besides, I almost completely ignored my YouTube channel, etc., because I wanted to focus on the relationship and on the family I was trying to integrate into. So I gave up an awful lot, and after my shop failed in early 2012, me and my girlfriend were together for more or less 24 hours a day, and we didn't get on each other's nerves. We really enjoyed each other's company, but for some reason, despite everything I gave up and despite all the time we spent together, and despite the fact that we were lovers almost every single day, and I told her I loved her every single day, she still couldn't bring herself to really trust me. And as much as it's tempting to go, oh, well, she's obviously got some sort of issue as regards trust. I mean, hey, so do I. I find it very difficult to trust people, but on the other hand, I will trust someone until they give me a good reason not to, usually. But I never got that back. It was something that really, really got under my skin. I felt like everything I did should have earned me the trust. I mean, it's fair enough if someone, when you first get together, if someone doesn't trust you, that's kind of fair enough. I mean, they don't really know you very well, don't know how you roll. But after 2 years of blatant devotion, it seemed to me that I had earned my trust, and the situation was getting worse instead of better. She was trusting me less and less as time went on. And you know, there are a lot of the abuse that happened, emotional abuse anyway, happened as a result of a lack of trust. And I don't know. I just sometimes I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm just not cut out for relationships, and it's not just romantic relationships. I mean, longtime viewers of this channel will remember a couple of years ago when my dad died, um, and he excluded me from his obituary DVD. So my relationship with my dad was obviously pretty crap too, and I didn't even realize it until after he was dead. So there must be something about me. I'm perhaps a little too self-absorbed, I think, to really focus and I feel like I'm opening up to the people in my life. I always feel like I'm giving as much as I can give, and maybe that's just an illusion. I honestly don't know. I have a hard time figuring it out. Now, I foresee some people in the comment section of this video will go, hey, Paul, you're obviously just not getting with the right people here. You seem to be a decent person, and if you treat someone well, they should trust you and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, fine. But to be honest, I will take my 50% of the blame for the failure of this relationship, as I did for my 2 marriages and everything, even though I don't really feel like I did that much wrong in the relationship at all. To be honest, I don't really think I did anything wrong, but I must have done to make her feel so insecure. Because we all have insecurities when we're in a loving relationship. It's natural. The more you love someone, the more you fear losing them, and that exacerbates our innate sense of insecurity. However, um, something about me, my personality, my general approach to life, I'm not really sure, must have made it worse. Um, because I made what I would consider Herculean efforts to earn and deserve and maintain a level of trust, which just wasn't forthcoming. Um, I don't know. What do you do in life to make up for the mistakes you've made? As far as I'm concerned, you can never really make up for mistakes you make. You can just learn from them and try to move on and not repeat them again. But it does seem to be the case that when it comes to romantic relationships, I keep repeating the same mistakes. And by that, I mean I keep getting with people who, for whatever reasons, decide that I need to be molded into their version of what a man ought to be, rather than being accepted for the man that I actually am. Now, again, people will say that's just because you've been choosing the wrong people. But I mean, is this just what people do? Is this just what women do? I don't honestly know. Because it seems to keep happening to me over and over and over again, where I get with someone and they think, oh, you're wonderful, you're great, you're amazing, but we'll just change this about you and we'll change that about you. And I'm just, quite frankly, I don't, to quote BB King, the man's already grown, you don't need raising up again. And that's how I feel. I feel like, I've paid my dues in life. I feel like I've come a long way. I've done a lot of personal growth and quite like who I am. And I want to be with someone who likes who I am, how I am. Um, and I think that maybe I'm done. Maybe that's it. Maybe this relationship business just isn't my cup of tea. I'm just not cut out for it. I've had some of my better friends recently say to me that you just need to get with the right person. That I keep on choosing women who are, uh, strong-headed and difficult. And whilst that's certainly true, that my most significant partners have always had extremely strong personalities, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I prefer women with strong personalities. I find them uh, just more appealing in general. And I've had friends say to me, well, what you really need is a low maintenance girlfriend. I'm not so sure such a thing exists. I don't mean to impugn the fairer sex when I say that, but I've literally never been involved with anyone on any kind of romantic level who I would call a low maintenance relationship. Um, it always takes a hell of a lot of work um, to impress and maintain a relationship. And to keep the people that I've been in love with happy, happy. So, and that's just it as well. My whole focus when I'm in a relationship is my partner's happiness, their well-being and happiness, and obviously my own as well. Uh, but yeah, I would go out of my way to make my partner happy, give up hugely important things to me to make my partner happy. And it doesn't always work. In fact, this time just gone, it's failed me absolutely miserably. So it feels like to me that since I've given up so much, tried so hard, and failed, that maybe I should just look at my life and think, well, Paul, I'm 51 years old, and maybe it's just time to put the whole idea of romance to rest and sort of make the rest of my life about me. Do what I want to do for my own self, and so on. It's just going to be really hard to deprogram and reprogram myself because all my life, all I've ever wanted was to be in a happy romantic relationship and to raise up my kids. Well, the raising up the kids part is done. My kids are both stunning adults and I'm really proud of them. So now all I want is a successful romantic relationship. And by successful, I basically mean enduring and enduringly happy. That's what I mean. Is that too fucking much to ask? I don't know, maybe it is. At least for me. Anyway, I didn't really get anywhere with this video, and I apologize for that, but I just didn't need to talk about it, so I did. Thanks for watching this, and until next time, may all your ups and downs be ups.